Welcome to SNN News. And today's news, we're going on to April 10th of 2021. Let's get started. I'm your host, Jonan, and let's start. With here, where a Mario game in Dallas, US has been set up to an auction record, where Super Mario Bros. Video game which created in 1986, has sold at an auction for about 487 euros, which makes it the most expensive video game in the world. This Nintendo game was given as a Christmas present, but the recipient, never opened it. Instead, he just put it in the drawer where it remained for 35 years, and the owner has asked not to be named, but said, "It stayed in the bottom of my desk all this time. I never thought about anything about it." And the auction house said that it was the finest known copy of the game. And the sale set a record for the world's most expensive video game ever. And it looks pretty good, to be honest. Okay, next up, let's go here. In Cadiz, Spain, ancient footprints of a dancing child has been found, where experts have discovered these fossilized footprints dating back all the way around 100,000 years on a beach in southern Spain, where fossils are an impression or a trace of an ancient plant or animal preserved in the Earth's crust. Now, scientists spotted the footprints in June 2020 after the stormy weather has washed away a sand dune on the beach. They think the feet were those of a child who was dancing, and the experts have used this 3D computer modeling to actually study them. Alright, let's go to Paris, where there's a very unusual thieves around there. More precisely, Lego thieves. A police has chased Lego thieves who are and these police officers have been investigating an international gang of thieves who specialize in stealing Lego bricks, which I have no idea why they really even want to. But maybe it's because they're valuable. Let's find out. And last June, the three thieves from Poland were caught in Juvanes near Paris, and their arrests led to the further investigations, and police have now warned shops selling Legos to beware. Now, valuable Lego sets are actually very popular, and the sets of a cafe, which sold in shops for 19 euros in 2007, can now be fetched around 2,500 euros in its original box. I know, crazy. Great. Now let's go to Slovakia. And in Bratislava, Slovakia, the Prime Minister has resigned. Now, Slovakia's Prime Minister has resigned, giving up his job over how he had handled the COVID-19 pandemic by buying and having a secret agreement with Russia for its coronavirus vaccine, Sputnik 5. Now, Slovakia is part of the European Union, and the European Union has not approved the use of Slovakia 5. The former finance minister Edward Huger has become the prime minister. Okay, now let's get going to this place, where it's Mecca of Saudi Arabia, where only vaccinated pilgrims are allowed to go to the Great Mosque for their pilgrimage. The worshippers who have been vaccinated against the COVID-19 will be allowed to pray and perform the Umrah pilgrimage at the Great Mosque in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Mecca was the birthplace of Prophet Muhammad, who founded the religion of Islam, and the government announced the plans just in time for the holy month of Ramadan, which began on the 13th of April. Okay, let's go to Chinese Hong Kong. And in China, Hong Kong of China, activists have to face time in jail, while the pro-democracy campaigners have been found guilty of the unlawful assembly of the illegal meetings. After they organized the protest 2 years ago, now it's 3 since it's 2022, at that time it was 2021, many people in Hong Kong have been fighting for democracy, the right to choose their leaders. But China has been introducing rules to restrict the city's system of government, and among the 7 people found guilty was Jimmy Lai, a very rich businessman. And Lai's publishing company produced a Hong Kong newspaper that often criticizes the current Chinese government. Lai and 6 other protesters have to spend time facing the time in jail. Okay, let's go to Taiwan. In Hualien city of Taiwan, the worst train crash happened in the Taiwan since decades. A train carrying 500 people hit a lorry and crashed in a tunnel on the 2nd of April. Around 50 people have died, including the train driver, and many more have been hurt. It is the worst train crash in the country for decades, and the lorry had slipped onto the crash and the tracks at the entrance to the tunnel, and the train could even stop in time to avoid it. Many of the passengers were going home for a long holiday weekend. Wow, most of these people won't even get to live to see their families again. 50 have died and many more have been hurt. Wow, many of them were hurt and 50 of them died. It's such a shame that they can't even see their families anymore. It must be hard for their families too. But we have to move on. Next up, we're going to Indonesia, where there's some interesting things happening about COVID-19. And unlike COVID-19, a tropical cyclone has hit it. Wang, 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 wang. On the April 4th, a tropical cyclone has hit parts of the Indonesia and the East Timor and Southeast Asia. Now, this cyclone is a tropical storm that forms over the South Pacific and the Indian Ocean, which is basically where Indonesia is literally inside. The heavy rains and strong winds from the storm actually caused floods and landslides, which at least killed 157 people. And many homes were destroyed, and more than 10,000 people had to escape. As the week Junior went to press, rescuers were still searching for survivors and helping those in need. Finally, we're going to Japan. And there in Japan, the earliest cherry blossoms have bloomed on record. Japan's cherry blossoms have bloomed at the earliest time since the records began 1,200 years ago. Each spring, families and friends across the country has gathered together to enjoy the blossoms in a festival known as Hanami, the flower viewing. In Kyoto, the blossoms peaked on 26th of March this year, and the experts think that these early blossomings may have been caused by the climate change and the long-term change in the weather patterns that is partly caused by human activities. Interesting. And now for our last destination place, let's go to one of the islands of New Zealand. South Island of New Zealand, where a rare gecko, this one, has been spotted after a decade. Now, the Kuopolo gecko has been spotted for the first time in more than 10 years, and this is just the third time ever. This rare reptile was found in the Nelson Lakes National Park by a lizard expert, Ben Barr, and he had spent 2 years searching for this gecko, and when he finally found 4 of them, lying down underneath the rocks, Barr said it was incredible and that he almost cried. He is such an absolute lizard hunter. I have no idea how he can never find something that was not lizard related. And so, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please watch either of these 2 videos, but before you do, subscribe to his channel, like this episode, share this episode, and even ring the bell button.